this idea that taking care of yourself is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Before the pandemic, I was always trying to convince people that they deserved self-care. And I feel like now people come in and they know that they deserve self-care, and they also know that it's really important and that...
Welcome back to Bellevue Bound. I'm your host, Trey Jackson, and today we are going to be stepping away from the hustle and bustle of the city and find some serenity at Yuan Spa. Joining me today is Tyson Dutta, who has been with Yuan Spa since its opening in 2012. She's part of the leadership team, a longtime aesthetician, and a massage therapist. From world-class sommelier to wellness leader, Tyson brings a unique perspective on the power of ritual, balance, and care. We're happy to have you here. Welcome in.
Thank you. You make me sound so good. I feel accomplished.
You are well accomplished. You got quite the list going on. And I really want to actually dive into that. Can you start by introducing yourself?
Yes, my name is Tyson Dutta, and I've been with Yuan Spa since we opened.
Yeah? And so tell us a little bit about your personal history, because how do you go from being like a sommelier and then really becoming a leader in wellness?
Yes, well, that is kind of coming a full circle. So I grew up, my dad, as you mentioned, is a Taoist philosopher, Tai Chi practitioner, Qigong master, and he founded something called the Living Tao Foundation, which bridges Eastern and Western cultures together.
Very cool.
And kind of teaches the long-held traditions of Eastern philosophy to a more fast-paced Western world. Yeah. So I grew up that way, and then I had gotten into restaurants because, as well as loving my parents, I also really loved food. So,
I mean, who does that, right?
There's a joke in my family, actually, for my 7th year birthday. Most families do the thing where you can pick your dinner of choice,
Absolutely.
Right? So I think I was 6 or 7, and I asked for prosciutto-wrapped melon, oysters, and tiramisu. And my parents were like, okay, we're probably going to get pizza for the other kids, but yeah.
So appreciation for culinary very early on.
Well, because of my dad's work, we were traveling all over. He did a lot of his teaching in Europe and throughout Asia. So I was introduced to not only the cultures, but the foods of all sorts of different places, and I just fell in love with food. And then through my study in undergrad, I studied art history. And the way that food and wine fit into culture is very similar to how art fits into culture. So when I started going to graduate school in art, I was working in a restaurant to pay for art school and learned very quickly that I was quite a bad artist, but reasonably decent restaurateur. So I started taking classes on wine, and so I was lucky enough to take classes at Windows on the World before the trade centers went down, and took some of my examinations with the Court of Master Sommeliers, and then moved over to the West Coast because in Portland, the wine industry is much more proximal to the restaurant scene. So I was able to do restaurants as well as wine at the same time, whereas in New York, that just really wasn't possible. It was too far away.
That's incredible.
Restaurants led me to one of the top restaurants here in the Pacific Northwest, which is called the Herb Farm. It's been around for forever. Yeah. It's a farm to table. It's really kind of helped set the tone for the food to the farm-to-table movement and the slow food movement. And when I was working there, I wanted to work on the farm as well because I'd never seen that side of restaurants. And the person who was working at the farm happened to have a background in holistic, herbal, medicinal plants.
Okay.
So I learned a ton about these plants, and then because of him, I started making my own soaps, and I started making my own shampoos, and I got really into it.
Yeah.
And then I was sort of thinking, like, well, what in the world will I do with this love of making soaps and shampoos? And I thought, well, I could get an aesthetician's license. Like, maybe that would... then at least I can put something on my sign, like soaps made by a professional esthetician.
Absolutely, smart marketing.
Right. So I enrolled at the Euro Institute and took some skincare classes there and became an esthetician, and I found that I just loved it. It just really called to this idea of taking care of people and of really being able to tap into people's ability to recenter, regenerize, reinvigorate themselves. And that is something that I think I've held on to watching my dad do from when I was a really little kid. So it was a very weird journey, but it felt like a return home to come back into spas and wellness.
Yeah, I was like, that's a very beautiful full circle kind of moment.
Very full circle.
And the way it almost like domino affected is kind of incredible. So Yuan Spa has been a Bellevue favorite since 2012 and its opening.
It has.
So could you tell us a little bit about the origin story of the spa and kind of how it's grown with the new addition of the Totem Lake location?
So the Yuan Spa is really the third spa of the owner in the U.S. So our owner's her name is Zikun Zhang, but she just affectionately is termed Z by all of us. So Z came to the U.S. and worked in spas in Vancouver, BC. And then she moved to the Mercer Island and Seattle area and started with a really small spa. And then that was pretty successful, expanded to a slightly larger one. But she always held this dream that she wanted to do something that was more similar to the spas that she had found impactful for her well-being in China, which included the idea of hydrotherapy, so the water, the hot, the cold, and various different techniques. We also, throughout our time, have done various treatments that are based around the Chinese 5 elements or around the different ways that those interact with the body. So our programming has changed throughout the many years that we've been around, kind of part along her vision and part along what people have wanted and have needed in wellness.
That's incredible. And for those of us who don't know, myself included, could you explain a little bit about the 5 elements?
Oh, yeah. In Chinese belief, there are 5 elements that kind of make up everything. So there's fire, earth, air, water, and metal or gold. And those components are in all of us. They're in all things. And so people will have, like, my personality, for example, tends to have a little bit more fire than some people's personality. Cool. So similarly to, I guess, astrology in the U.S., you would think like someone who's Pisces has a lot of water in them.
A lot of
kind
science.
of Leo has a lot of fire. Similar ideas.
Very fascinating. Okay, that's really cool. I'm going to have to look more into that. So this philosophy you kind of mentioned behind Yuan Spa seems to be rooted in balance, right? And I saw something in your mission statement, something about rediscovering your source.
Yes.
Would you be able to kind of explain the inspiration behind that and what that means and translates to?
Absolutely. And it literally is our name. So the name Yuan, the Chinese character for that is a word that translates loosely to the source, meaning the source of a wellspring or the source of energy or the source of a beginning, the source of something. So it's where the power comes from.
Okay. And so how does that kind of like guide the experience that one would receive at Yuan Spa?
I think the philosophy that we go by is that somewhere deep inside of each of us, you know what your best self is. You know who your best, most balanced version of yourself is. And so we are simply a place that you can come and safely rediscover that. So through slowing things down, tuning out the hectic, as you mentioned, hustle and bustle
of the city.
Yeah, of the city, you can actually have time to listen to that still small voice inside and remember really who you're meant to be.
Oh, very cool. So it's kind of a combination of kind of reconnecting with oneself, but also having kind of a guided experience performed for you as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We sort of give you, it's almost like we're the, if you go bowling, we're like the little bumper things. You still get down the way on your own, but like we just keep you from going in the gutters.
I love that. That's a great analogy. And if you guys are enjoying this, please don't forget to like and subscribe for all things Bellevue. All right, so you kind of touched on this just briefly about the hydrotherapy space. For those of us who haven't been, could you kind of explain, like walk us through what's offered in the hydrotherapy space and kind of what are the benefits of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So hydrotherapy basically is just the therapy of water, and the therapy of water in this case being hot and cold or temperature differences. So the 2 locations are slightly different. Both have a hot pool, a cool pool, and a eucalyptus steam room. One has a Himalayan pink salt sauna. The other has a chromotherapy sauna, so the lights actually go along the chakras of the body. And then the one in Totem Lake has a snow room that actually has,
wow.
It's really cool. It's like a little snow maker, and you just take big handfuls of snow and have snowball fights with yourself or your friends in this little cold room.
Nice.
And then in Bellevue, we have a cold drench shower. So,
which I did try, and boy, was it shocking.
were the screams heard throughout Bellevue?
Yeah, and thanks to someone, my videographer, I had to do it 2 or 3 times. Actually, it was 4 times, and my body was red by the end of it.
You'll be really healthy. It's actually extremely good for you. So
that's what I kept telling myself as I pulled the lever again and again and again.
Yeah, and I mean, the basic scientific principle behind it is that the hot and the cold are going to vasoconstrict and dilate and so you're going to get all new oxygenated blood flow to your muscle tissue, to your brain, to your body, to enervate all of your systems. So that's sort of the science behind why it's really good for you. But it also is, it really goes, I mean, there are many long-held traditions in almost all cultures where water and cleansing and ritual and bathing and renewal are all part of maintaining one's wellness too. So it kind of taps into that as well.
And I mean, the difference in temperature is really good, as you mentioned, for cardiovascular health. And it's also just like really good because you're getting both a relaxation and like an energy jolt interwoven together.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. We're going to actually take a step out of the studio and go check out that hydrotherapy space at Yuan Spa. Always important to hydrate before you get into these hydrotherapy sessions. Eucalyptus, you can already smell it, so it's delicious. Oh my gosh, y'all, that was invigorating. Wow, I feel hyped and ready to go. And welcome back. And if you guys are curious about the hydrotherapy space or want to check it out for yourself, please check the link below. All right. So we kind of mentioned about the owner's journey, kind of what experiences have done well for her wellness. And I know I read online something about a combination between like Eastern and Western practices in wellness. So how do your like massages and other therapies that you offer kind of showcase that combination of the two?
Yeah, that's it's actually a great question because it's always changing, and we're navigating it really kind of season by season because improvements in the technologies, particularly in skincare, improvements in the technologies are very fast and very fast-paced and changing. And fads tend to be very fast-paced and changing. The massage world moves a little more slowly, but even that has different changes and trends. So being able to provide an area that has services that are going to really resonate with the people coming in has been really important. But in all of them, we incorporate some of the more key items that we consider like the signature Yuan Spa bookends. So we do aromatherapy, we do deep breathing, we work on areas. Almost all of our services have something that taps into either the meridian lines in the body or acupressure points or something that sort of speaks to that more Asian influence of wellness and well-being.
That's very cool. And like I 100% agree. Like this is with like any kind of realm is like the trends really constantly are changing.
Yes.
And especially with skincare, in the new generation, there's such a push and pull with skincare, makeup, treatments.
Yes.
And I kind of want to dive into trends, wellness trends. So you've been with Yuan Spa since 2012.
Yes.
Like over this like last decade, what has those trends been like and where are they now?
Oh gosh, so we partner with some really great skincare companies. So we're often relying on them in terms of their innovation with product lines and with ingredients. So we're only partnering with lines that are for professional use in spas that will actually see results. So they happen to smell delicious and they happen to like make you relaxed. But the reason that we picked those particular ones is because they also really make a difference and they work. when you are coming to a spa that's higher ends like Yuan, you want to leave and you want to be able to see or feel a difference. If you get a massage with us, you should be able to feel different when you leave.
Absolutely.
And if you come and you get a
Refreshed.
facial, you should be able to look in the mirror and go, wow, when you leave. So staying on top of the ingredients has been something that we partner with our skincare lines with. And then when it comes to the trends, we've had a bunch of bumps. We've done, I would say the funniest one for us is like eyelashes. Like we have tried and done just about every trend that eyelashes have done.
Okay.
And currently do nothing with eyelashes. But
Okay. No lash extensions?
No, not anymore. Yeah. So we've left. I mean, there are places that you could do that is what they do specifically. But we have always kind of dabbled. We have always dabbled in things that are sort of the trending things, as much for our guests as for our estheticians, just because they are always keen to learn new ideas. And then what we try to do is we try to stay sort of just behind the trends so we can
Smart.
actually see what's going to last and what's really having results. So we most recently brought on microneedling and radio frequency nanoneedling.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so that's something that we just brought on in the last little bit that is definitely technologically based. But as with all of our services, you're going to get a acupressure head massage during it and all the stuff that keys into those Asian and Chinese philosophies.
Which, I mean, can't be mad at that, right? No. I was going to say, I remember when like hydrofacials kind of got started with their big launch, and I actually got my first one at Yuan Spa back in like 2016, 2017.
Oh, wow.
It was incredible. But it's really exciting to kind of step into that world and see what those trends are like from like an inside perspective.
Yeah.
Because from my perspective, I work on like social media quite often, so those trends are like every other day.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes, yeah. So we definitely try and stay a couple steps behind that and see what's actually going to stick, at least for a little while.
That's smart too, because a lot of those things they might not even be the really results-based, as you mentioned, right? You got to really see it before you can really practice
And there's
it.
a reason that some of the ancient wisdom is ancient wisdom. I mean, it works. And
Right.
It's stuck around for a reason. So, we're not resting on laurels as much as we're resting on the wisdom of our elders and the people that came before us.
Which is definitely a smarter practice, following every trend. So speaking of trends, Bellevue is a very fast-moving, hustle and bustle type city. So why is it that like Yuan Spa resonates so deeply in this city? Like, how does it kind of balance it out?
Interestingly, I would say that this is something that's changed dramatically in just the last 5 years. So I think that there were a lot of terrible things that happened during the pandemic, and there were a lot of, there was a lot that we still haven't recovered from. Something that shifted in our clients and I think in our staff as well is this idea that taking care of yourself is not just a luxury, it's a necessity.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that people really viewed it that way prior to that. I mean, I felt like before the pandemic, I was always trying to convince people that they deserved self-care. And I feel like now people come in and they know that they deserve self-care. And they also know that it's really important and that, self-care is like we all fly on planes and we all hear the little oxygen mask, like you have to take care of yourself before you help another person.
Absolutely.
But it applies to just you as well. And so I think since the pandemic, we have noticed a real uptick in people not thinking of spas or wellness places as sort of, that's where I go on my anniversary or that's where I go for a girl's day, but really like, this is how I take care of myself. This is as important as going to the gym. This is as important as buying organic foods. I'm taking care of who I am as a person.
And it's actually really interesting that you mentioned that because our previous guests with Northwest Paragliding had noticed a very similar experience where after COVID, people really, they got that free time, so they had time to take care of themselves and explore themselves, explore what they like, and then since then have really stepped into that world of wellness and really prioritize it.
Yeah.
So it's really fascinating to see that spread across different types of industries.
Absolutely. It's been a weird silver lining, but it's definitely been, I think that it really is a change for the better. And I no longer feel like I'm trying to convince people to take care of themselves as often as I used to. Now I'm just helping them do it because they know it's important.
we had the luxury of kind of stepping into that, and it really is transformative because like you're stepping out of like the city, kind of has the city noises, and the second that those doors close, you get hit by the trickling of water. That beautiful fountain is the first thing you see, and then like you mentioned, you get hit by the scent of eucalyptus. And it's beautiful the way you guys designed your space and the flow of it because it's so quiet in there throughout all of the spaces, and they transition very beautifully.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you guys are interested in seeing the full services offered at Yuan Spa, please check the link below. And if you're enjoying this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. All right. So, speaking of kind of people's experiences and how you mentioned people are bringing their friends in, Yuan Spa is like this kind of oasis, right? It's this calm kind of detox area where you can unplug from like, you know, the hustle and bustle of Bellevue. It's kind of almost like a complete contradiction of energies between the city. So how do you think it kind of, this empowers it to be successful in Bellevue?
It is. It's like the yin and yang, I guess.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the things that's really great is you can come anytime. We have really long hours, so we're open from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m.
Which is great for someone who's traveling.
Yeah, so we have really versatile availability and opening. And one of the great things is, I mean, I can't imagine anything I would like more after a really long flight than to just pop in for a nice hydrotherapy before going to bed.
That's a good soak.
You know, you can prep for your meeting on your computer, or you can come in and use hydrotherapy and be even better the next day.
And mentally prepare yourself.
Exactly.
That's very smart. Okay, that's actually kind of incredible because most spas do not stay open that late.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very unique offering that you guys have there.
Yeah.
And then, so with those hours, when would be like the cutoff time to come in?
So hydrotherapy, the services, the last service starts at 9, and hydrotherapy closes at that same time.
Okay,
so,
very nice. And is that the same for massages then? It's probably about 9 p.m.? Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And is there anything that anyone has said in kind of particular that kind of resonated with you after their experience at Yuan Spa?
I think that idea, particularly in the hydrotherapy, this idea that they've been able to go somewhere, they've been transported somewhere completely different, and yet they've stayed in the city. So you can get that sense, that same reinvigoration that you might get from going to Hawaii or going on a cruise or something. You know, you can just go and in just, you know, in 60 minutes you can transform yourself and come into a completely different space and kind of reset. Like I almost think of the spa as like the Control-Alt-Delete, like the reset for the human computer. You could just
get that task manager open.
Yeah, so I think that just that ability to be able to have this oasis in the middle of a city, because we are really unique in that we're one of the few places where we have all of that, but we're right in the heart of downtown, both in the Totem Lake area and in the Bellevue area.
Yeah, and like it's no joke. Like it is like a full unplug detax time.
Yeah.
And if you
we
have
don't
not
even allow phones.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you haven't tried it, you absolutely should try it. Go check out Yuan Spa. And speaking of kind of, you know, the history of Yuan Spa, let's actually look ahead a little bit. What are some exciting things on the horizon for Yuan Spa, and kind of how does that play a role in Bellevue's wellness scene?
Well, I hope that things just continue to grow where people really are finding that taking care of themselves is something that is a human right.
Yes.
And something that you really need to make time for and space for. So that has continued to grow, and I hope that it does. And then in terms of our services, we just did an all-staff training on table tie techniques.
Oh.
So we're expanding our practitioners that are able to do table tie techniques for massage. And then, as I mentioned, the nano needling and micro needling have just kicked off.
Which is so exciting.
So that's something that, will continue to grow as we learn more about it and as that industry learns more about it and passes it along to us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've heard nothing but great things about the needling. Like the resurfacing it does is incredible.
It's fantastic because it gives you the results of a much more medical grade peel or procedure, but without any of the downtime. So
because the downtime for that stuff is kind of crazy.
It is,
and seeing the post-treatment, that's kind of like a whole mental game too to play that you could just completely skip by doing the needling instead. Yeah. All right, you all, if you really enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe to Bellevue Bound for all things Bellevue. Now we're going to get into the light and airy round. This is just going to be like a fun round, speed round. You can answer with anything you're feeling. So first question, what is your favorite treatment at Yuan Spa?
Oh, I'm not a very fast lightning, am I? I like all of them. That's so the service that I do the most is hydrotherapy. I do it all the time. But I would say a good lomi massage is probably my personal favorite to both do and to receive. And I'm not very good at picking one thing, so I'm going to say another one too.
Okay.
Our Chinese body scrub is fantastic. So that one,
amazing.
yeah, we use salt and the little exfoliating mitts, and we basically slough off like the entire last season, and you just get to leave a brand new person.
So you're ready for the runway after that one.
Absolutely.
The new season. Yes. And I have to say, my favorite thing about the hydrotherapy, the circuit that you guys have built, is that it starts and ends in the hot pool.
Yes.
Which happens to be my favorite part of it. It's so nice and relaxing.
Yes.
So second question. What is one wellness ritual that you practice every day?
Every day for me, I would say I do meditation every day.
Beautiful.
I do some form of either Tai Chi or yoga or some sort of movement. As I've gotten older, I am realizing that balance and stability are most important for my body's health. So rather than I used to do a lot of like weightlifting and hardcore things like that. And I got into CrossFit and all of that.
Oh, CrossFit's intense.
It is, but now, now I'm doing a lot more on like balance, flexibility. So I would say I do something in that area every day at least. Yeah.
Which is so smart, especially because like in an area where we're constantly working on computers, constantly in front of screens and stuff, like it's important to get out, move the body, and like I'm a big believer in like use it or lose it, especially when it comes to mobility and flexibility.
Yes.
So like I think that's a great daily practice to have.
Motion is lotion.
I love that. I'm stealing that. All right, next question for you. What is like one simple tip for the listeners here who maybe haven't been to Yuan Spa or aren't able to go at this moment? What's one way they can bring the philosophy from the spa into their daily life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just find some sort of ritual. Take even set your alarm just 15 minutes earlier and get up and have a cup of tea and sit and be quiet and kind of enter your day in a way that feels a little bit sacred, or carve that time out later in the day. But just carve out something that feels sacred. I think that to me that's what Yuan is able to provide for everyone, both the people that work there and the people that come and enjoy it, is that it's just a sacred space.
Absolutely. And I think something that is just like undervalued is slow mornings.
Yes.
We just never really get those. They're like basically a luxury.
Because the snooze button is so tempting. It's very hard to not press it.
Yeah, I fell into the pit hole of setting like 3 alarms in the morning that are all spaced out about 15 minutes. It just stop.
I have a new puppy, and that puppy requires early morning walks, and it has been just the best thing.
Oh, I love
that.
So
yeah, even though it sometimes is hard to get up that early, once I'm out there with the dog, it is the best part of my day.
Do you have a little raincoat for the dog for when the rainy season comes?
Not yet. He's only 10 months old, but he does have a life jacket to go on my paddleboard with me, and he will definitely be getting a raincoat before the rainy season.
I would love that. Well, I want to say thank you so much for being here, Tyson. And thank you so much for listening to Bellevue Bound and exploring the world of Yuan Spa. And if you're really interested in checking out the spa and their offerings, don't forget to check the link below for more information on that. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Bellevue Bound. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out the next notification for the episode drop. Bye-bye now.
This video was recorded and produced by Just Talk Studios, the premier video podcasting studio in Bellevue, Washington. Visit justtalkstudios.com to learn more and book your session today.